When I got Legend of Zelda for Arbor Day in 1986, I was in love. I mean, this game was unlike anything I'd played before. I mean, granted, back in the 80s we had much more limited video games, but Legend of Zelda had it all. And I'm really glad that I saved it, because as an adult, yes, I'm an adult, I even have a child and a wife to prove it, and a job and a mortgage. Well, I still play it. I'm so glad that I kept all my games. My old actual system kind of went kaput years ago, but you can buy a decent emulator online on Amazon, etc., and play all your old games, which I still do. And one of my favorite aspects of the original Zelda were the clues that would be provided for you, right? So you had the old guy in the dungeon, and then if you paid her off, you had the old woman who would give you sort of directional clues. Now, again, coming back into Zelda as an adult, I wanted to learn more about these, and well, what do? You turn to YouTube. And so, yeah, I watched a heck of a lot of YouTube looking for videos about these clues, but I just couldn't find what I was looking for. No one made a video just about the clues and what they mean. I mean, there's plenty of text websites that do that, but I thought if only a website would do that, or a YouTube channel would do that and make a video. Oh, wait a minute, I'm a YouTube video channel guy. So, spoiler alert ahead, because we're going to ruin every clue in the game, or at least explain them all and what they're talking about. So, and yes, I'm well aware this information is out there on the, internets, but we're going to make a video about it. Videos are better. All right, I'm not really going to need to talk about things that are obvious, right? If you bump into an old man and he tells you to take something, or, the merchant, even in another language, it's pretty obvious what you're doing. So don't need to cover, exactly. We're talking about clues. And the clues come from, first off, this old lady who's known as Old Woman. Man, sorry, Monty Python bug. I've had it for a couple of years now. All right, so she's the one you have to pay off, and you should always choose the middle, because if you pay too cheap, she won't do it too much. What she's telling you here is how to get through the Lost Woods, which is up and left, down and left. Now, her next clue isn't as lost in translation as the previous one. Meet the old man at the grave. Well, the one grave that doesn't produce a ghost, if you push it like you would push a block in the underworld, you find an old man with the magical sword. So, yay, magical sword. So that, again, that clue makes pretty much sense. Go up the mountain ahead. Again, a directional clue. This one comes from she's inside the waterfall. And this is referring to directions for the fifth labyrinth, which you have to repeatedly go up the same screen several times. So much like the Lost Woods clue, this is a guide key to understand how to get through the lost, mountain area. All right, the old man. The old man is my favorite because he's all over the place, meaning he's in the underworld and the overworld, or the overworld and the labyrinths, or the mazes, or whatever you want to call them. You can call them, potato salad if you want, although I don't think anyone would understand what you were saying. So, what's up with this guy? Well, one of the interesting things is two different old men. I touched on this in another video that was inspired by the research I was doing for this one. So there was the overworld version and then the underworld version. So here they are side by side. You can see the underworld version on the right has pointed ears, meaning he's a Hylian or an elf or a Elven, or whatever you want to say. So yeah, two different sprites. Interesting. Not the same dude. All right. So he's spread out throughout the overworld. Usually he's taxing you for breaking in, but a lot of times he's helping, like when he gives you the sword in the first start screen. Don't need to decode what that clue means because he's telling you to take it. So again, we're going to spend more time on the clues that have to be deciphered. And the other one that's maybe a little less obvious, show this to the old woman. Well, what old woman? Well, when you find an old woman who's not telling you a clue and is just sitting with two burning bushes, if you pop out the letter and activate it with B, even though you don't actually do anything, suddenly she starts selling you medicine. I always kind of wish Link would push the letter out, hold it up or something and offer it to her. Okay. The last of the overworld clues we have is secret is in the tree at the dead end. Now, if you've been playing this game for 40 years, it's pretty obvious. But yeah, when we were kids, or if you just picked it up, there's a lot of bushes out there, and you can burn almost all of them, which is why Zelda was such a great gift for Arbor Day. Well, if you burn a bush that has a secret, well, you're going to hear the secret sound, and then you're going to get revealed a staircase. Now, the tree at the dead end, I mean, there's lots of trees at dead ends, right? I mean, those two on the right are dead ends. The one it's talking about is this one, where there's one tree blocking your path, and when you burn it, it's the entrance to level 8. There you go. That's the answer to the clue. All right, let's jump into the labyrinths. Now, the first labyrinth, Labyrinth Eagle, is interesting because, well, this was, I actually went on making a whole video about this single clue, so I'll just recap it very briefly. This is a clue that has puzzled fans and game players for decades. Not just because peninsula is spelled wrong, but people didn't really know what this was referring to. Well, it obviously refers to a peninsula with one N, which, if you know what a peninsula is, like the Iberian Peninsula or the Floridian Peninsula, it's a area of land covered on 3 sides with water. So, do you see area of land covered in 3 sides with water? No, it's an underground maze. There's no peninsula here. Despite that, a lot of people thought the right-hand side eastmost room, which is where the boss is, was what this was talking about. But the compass tells you where this is. Plus, every time there's a clue in a labyrinth talking about a labyrinth, it refers to the name of the labyrinth. Here, there's a secret at the tip of the nose. We'll get to this one in a few minutes. So, yeah, if this level 1 clue was referring to the Triforce location, it would probably say there's a secret at the end of the wing, right? Not the eastmost peninsula. That's not a peninsula. That's an underground maze, and the blackness is not water. So, yeah, there is only one peninsula in the game, which is located on the eastmost position. And there are a few things to find here, but there's really only one secret. And this is what I did in the previous video. It's the wall that you can walk through. It's the only wall in the entire first quest that has you can walk through it, and you get the secret sound, and it reveals 100 rupees, which is very important because this is the only 100 rupees you can get without a tool, like a candle, like you need for the other one. So, yeah, if you're starting the game off, you can jump right away and get 100 rupees. Now, there's other things going on in this peninsula. There's the letter to the old lady, there's the money-making game, there's a raft dock that you can go off of, but that's not a secret. If you see a dock, you know what to do if you've been playing the game. So, yeah, this is the peninsula, and these other things in the peninsula are not secrets. The other big thing about this is the only clue that got replaced. In the Japanese version, the clue says that the arrows cost money to use. Why did they change it out? Well, as a brand manager myself in the toy industry, I can tell you when something isn't working, you try to change it, and we all know that the Japanese thought that the American audience were not as good video game players. It's why they held back Super Mario Bros. 2 from the American audience. They also didn't give the American audience as big of an overworld map. In Japan, you got a much smaller map, because Japanese game designers thought Americans couldn't handle the difficulty. So that's probably why they changed the clue. If the Japanese players weren't finding this, well, the Americans certainly weren't going to. So out went the arrow clue, and in went the peninsula clue, complete with a spelling error. Kind of lost in translation, but yeah. I'll link to my other video where I deep dive into this clue, because, yeah, it's really fascinating, and the story behind it, especially because people have not really understood what this clue meant. What's the peninsula? All right, that's what it was. Let's jump to level 2 and the clue. So every labyrinth, we get 1 or 2 old man. So here we have Dodongo dislikes smoke. Well, yeah, you can either feed him 3 bombs, or if you put 1 bomb right in front of him and it explodes, you can then sword pokey him to death. So that is the way to dispatch of the Triceratops, excuse me, when you say one thing and you mean you mow too. Level 3, did you get the sword from the old man on top of the waterfall? So again, a clue from the dungeon about the overworld, just like that peninsula clue. So there's only 1 waterfall in the whole game, and if you climb above it, you will see a cave guarded by the lion horse dude. And this is where the silver sword is. So, yay. Level 4, which you need a raft to get to. Level 4, walk into the waterfall. Oh, gee, weren't we just talking about the waterfall? So, yes, above the waterfall is the white sword. But if you walk into the waterfall, well, you will meet one of the old ladies who we talked about earlier in this video. See, I said we'd come back to this. Who gives you the directions for level 5. Go up the mountain ahead. So that's this screen, the Lost Mountain Pass, where you just keep going straight up. And boom, level 5. So yeah, makes sense. Level 4 gives you a hint of how to get to level 5. Here in level 5, we get secret power is said to be in the arrow. So this is referring to the silver arrow, which you can't get until level 9. And it's the item you need to dispatch Ganon at the end. You have to hit him 5 times or 4 times with the magic sword, 10 times with the silver sword, and then shoot him with an arrow. Yeah, you can actually kill him with the wooden sword. It just takes a lot of hits. You don't have to have the magic sword. All right. So, clues continuing. We get Dig Dogger hates certain kinds of sounds. So, another clue of how to get rid of the bad guy for the labyrinth is you toot on the whistle, and it causes this character to shrink and sometimes turn into multiple versions of himself, which can then be dispatched with arrows or swords or all sorts of fun gadgets. All right, let's move on to level 6, which is above the graveyard on the left side of the map. So this one also has clues. There are secrets where fairies don't live. So we're getting sort of a pattern here, where the labyrinth before gives you a clue of how to find the next labyrinth. So this one is referring to all the fairies are at a little pond, but if you find this one pond without a fairy, blow on your whistle, and the secret is the entrance to level 7. So again, see that? Level 5 or level 4 told you how to find level 6, or level 5, and level 6 tells you how to find level 7. And in level 7, we're told to aim at the eyes of Goma. So this is the giant spider-like creature, and yeah, you shoot him once with an arrow in the eye, and boom, dispatch him. Nothing else will dispatch him. All right, so that was level 6. Let's move on to level 7, as we just discussed, is the one you use the whistle or flute or recorder to open. So here we have, there's a secret in the tip of the nose. And so once again, this is a clue talking about a labyrinth, and it's referring to the name or the shape. So it's the lizard labyrinth, and the nose, no, the dragon. Dragon? Yeah. And so the tip of the nose, obviously, is, if you can view this as, a they don't always look like what they say they are. The eagle is kind of an eagle. But yeah, so what would be the tip, I suppose, of the nose would be this last screen all the way to the top right. And this is one of those clues that actually has driven fans crazy. But see that block that's marked with the red dot? Yeah, you push on that one, and it opens up a stairwell to the end of the labyrinth. Without pushing that block, and because it's a block in the middle of a row as opposed to a single block like all of the other ones, it's a little tricky to know, and that's what the secret at the tip of the nose is. So yeah, looking at the map there, see how it kind of looks like a dragon head? All right, now we're ready for level 8, and we've already discovered how to get in. So the first clue in level 8 is the 10th enemy has the bomb. Now, this has been one of the most confusing clues for decades. It took until the internet and people could, run algorithms to figure out what this was. It turned out that if you don't get hit and kill 9 enemies, and then you kill the 10th enemy with a bomb, it will drop a bomb. It will generate a bomb, so you can load up on bombs. It's a great way for speedrunners or people who play without the sword, who need bombs. So yes, you can keep track of which enemies you kill. Your 10th enemy, if you don't get hit, you kill him with a bomb, you get a bomb. The next clue in level 8 is Spectacle Rock is an entrance to death. So here we have the conclusion of the theme of Labyrinth before, telling you how to find the next labyrinth, and this is the entrance to level 9. It's called Spectacle Rock because if you think like spectacles, like eyeglasses, it was kind of lost in translation. Patra has the map. Pretty simple. One of the rooms with Patra, when you kill Patra, you get the map. It's, boom. It's not too complicated. It's kind of like, it's amazing how at the end of level 9 you get some of the most simplistic clues in the entire game, as opposed to, the Eastmost Peninsula. Eye of the Skull has a secret. So again, referring to the fact that it's the Skull Labyrinth. And in the eye is where you get both the compass and where Zelda is. So there's your secret. Finally, to wrap it all up, the greatest clue in all of Zelda. Go to the next room. People still can't figure out what that means. Just kidding. It means you go in the next room. All right, so there you go. Those are all the clues. I hope I didn't skip any. If I did, I'm sure you'll tell me in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed researching it. And, man, it's fun to have more Zelda information out there that's easy to digest. Go YouTube videos. All right, thanks for watching. Thank you for sharing, and I'll see you guys in the next video.